Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo is an environmental engineer and politician who has served as President of Mexico since 2024. She is the first woman and first Jewish person to be elected to that position. Sheinbaum was born on June 24, 1962, in Mexico City. She earned a bachelor's degree in physics in 1989, a master's degree in 1994, and a Ph.D. in energy engineering in 1995, all from the National Autonomous University of Mexico, UNAM. From 1995 to 2000 and 2006 to 2015, Sheinbaum was a faculty member and researcher at the Institute of Engineering at UNAM, authoring more than 100 articles and 2 books on energy, the environment, and sustainable development. In 2007, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, of which she was a member, and former U.S. Vice President Al Gore were co-recipients of the Nobel Peace Prize for their efforts to build up and disseminate greater knowledge about man-made climate change, and to lay the foundations for the measures that are needed to counteract such change. In her political career, Sheinbaum has served as Secretary of the Environment of Mexico City from 2000 to 2006, Delegational Chief, Mayor, of Tlalpan from 2015 to 2017, and the Head of Government, Mayor, of Mexico City from 2018 to 2023. Claudia Sheinbaum, born June 24, 1962, Mexico City, Mexico, is a Mexican politician and environmental engineer who is the President of Mexico. She is the first woman and the first Jewish person to be elected to the post. Sheinbaum previously served as mayor of Mexico City, 2018 to 23, before stepping down to run in the presidential election in 2024 as a candidate for the National Regeneration Movement, Movimiento Regeneración Nacional, Morena. She won a landslide victory in June and began her 6-year term on October 1. Sheinbaum is also known for her scientific research and policy advocacy on matters of energy efficiency, sustainability, and the environment. She was one of the scientists and policymakers who shared the 2007 Nobel Prize for Peace for their work on the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC. Sheinbaum is the second daughter of Annie Pardo Simo, a biologist and professor emeritus at the National Autonomous University of Mexico, UNAM, in Mexico City, and Carlos Sheinbaum, a chemical engineer. After spending her childhood in Mexico City, Sheinbaum enrolled at UNAM to study physics. For her master's and doctorate degrees, also at UNAM, she studied energy engineering and conducted her doctoral research at Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory in Berkeley, California, U.S. Her dissertation compared trends in energy consumption in Mexico with those of other industrialized countries. Sheinbaum returned to UNAM as a member of the engineering faculty in 1995. Sheinbaum was politically active as a student and professor in the 1980s and 90s. Although she helped found the student-led Revolutionary Democratic Party in 1998, she wouldn't hold office until the turn of the 21st century. In 2000 she was appointed Mexico City's environmental minister by Mayor Andrés Manuel López Obrador, with whom she shares strong political ties. In the role, she oversaw the introduction of the city's bus system, Metrobus, and the construction of a second story of the Periférico, a beltway road that encircles Mexico City's urban zone. After López Obrador lost his bid to become Mexico's president in the 2006 election, Sheinbaum returned to UNAM, where she contributed to the climate change mitigation section of the IPCC's 4th and 5th assessment reports, see also global warming policy, and continued her scientific research. The IPCC was awarded a Nobel Peace Prize following the 4th assessment's publication in 2007. In 2015 Sheinbaum was elected mayor of the Tlalpan district of Mexico City. In this role, she stressed the importance of water rights and fair usage. Although she received criticism for accidents occurring in the infrastructure she oversaw during her term of office, including several deaths that occurred during a magnitude 7.1 earthquake that struck Tlalpan in 2017, Sheinbaum's political stock continued to rise. She was elected mayor of Mexico City in July 2018, receiving 50% of the vote in a field of 7 candidates. Sheinbaum was the first woman and the first Jewish person to hold the office. As in her earlier positions, Sheinbaum took on public transit and environmental issues. Her government expanded rainwater collection, reformed waste management, and began a reforestation program. She also announced plans to overhaul the city's subway system long in disrepair with massive investments in modernizing trains and shoring up existing infrastructure. However, her critics have pointed to continued deadly accidents on the subway despite her attempted reforms. On June 12, 2023, Sheinbaum announced that she would step down as Mexico City's mayor to seek the presidency, running as a candidate for Morena. Many see her as an ideological successor to President López Obrador, 2018-24, as she has embraced similar leftist positions, such as that all citizens have basic rights to health care, education, shelter, and jobs. Sheinbaum has rejected certain aspects of the ruling party's approach to governing, however, particularly those pertaining to climate change and job creation. Whereas López Obrador stimulated economic growth by propping up Mexico's petroleum industry, Sheinbaum rejects this policy. She has pushed for a transition away from polluting fossil fuels toward nationally subsidized renewable energy. Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo, a Mexican politician, energy and climate change scientist, an academic who is the 66th and current president of Mexico since 2024. She is the first woman and the first Jewish person to hold the office. A member of the National Regeneration Movement, Morena, she previously served as head of government of Mexico City from 2018 to 2023. In 2024, Forbes ranked Sheinbaum as the 4th most powerful woman in the world. A scientist by profession, Sheinbaum received her Doctor of Philosophy in Energy Engineering from the National Autonomous University of Mexico, UNAM. She has co-authored over 100 articles and 2 books on energy, the environment, and sustainable development. She contributed to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change and, in 2018, was named one of BBC's 100 Women. Sheinbaum joined the Party of the Democratic Revolution, Ph.D., in 1989. From 2000 to 2006, she served as Secretary of the Environment in the Federal District under Andrés Manuel López Obrador. She left the PRD in 2014 to join López Obrador's splinter movement, Morena, and was elected mayor of Tlalpan borough in 2015. In 2018, she became head of government of Mexico City, focusing on security, public transport, and social programs, while also overseeing major crises such as the COVID-19 pandemic and the Mexico City Metro overpass collapse. She resigned in 2023 to run for president and won Morena's nomination over Marcelo Ebrard. In the 2024 presidential election, she defeated Xochitl Gálvez in a landslide. As president, Sheinbaum enacted a series of constitutional reforms with the support of her legislative supermajority, including enshrining social programs into the Constitution, reversing key aspects of the 2013 energy reform to strengthen state control over the energy sector, and mandating that the minimum wage increase above the rate of inflation. Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo was born on June 24, 1962 in Mexico City, within a Mexican Jewish family. She is the second child of chemist Carlos Sheinbaum Yaslevitz and biologist Annie Pardo Simo. Carlos Sheinbaum was of Ashkenazi Jewish descent. His father, Chonwan Sheinbaum Abramovitz, had emigrated from Lithuania in 1928, becoming a jewelry merchant and a member of the Mexican Communist Party. Annie Pardo is from a Sephardi Jewish family who arrived in Mexico in 1946, after fleeing from the persecution of Jews in Bulgaria during World War II. Pardo became the first Sephardic woman to be an academic at the Instituto Politécnico Nacional. Sheinbaum's parents were actively involved in Mexican left-wing circles during the 1960s, participating in protests, workers' movements, and student uprisings. Sheinbaum has two siblings. Her older brother, Julio, is a physicist and physical oceanography researcher at SIS. Her younger sister, Adriana, is a teacher who lives in the United States and is married to film director Rodrigo Garcia Barca, a son of Colombian writer and Nobel laureate Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Sheinbaum earned a bachelor's degree in physics at UNAM in 1989, a master's degree in 1994, and a Ph.D. in energy engineering in 1995. Sheinbaum completed the work for her Ph.D. thesis between 1991 and 1994 at the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory in California. While working for the laboratory, she analyzed energy use in the Mexican transportation sector and published studies on the trends in Mexican building energy use. In 1995, Sheinbaum joined the faculty of the Institute of Engineering at UNAM. In 1999, she received the prize for being the best UNAM young researcher in engineering and technological innovation. In 2006, Sheinbaum returned to UNAM after a period in government and began publishing articles in scientific journals. In 2007, Sheinbaum contributed to the industry chapter of the WG3 Mitigation Report of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change 4AR and, in 2013, served as a lead author for the chapter in the IPCC Fifth Assessment Report. During her time as a student at UNAM, Sheinbaum was a member of the University Student Council, Consejo Estudiantil Universitario, a group of students that would become the founding youth movement of the Party of the Democratic Revolution, Ph.D. Sheinbaum served as the Secretary of the Environment of the Federal District from December 5, 2000 to May 15, 2006, appointed by Head of Government of the Federal District Andrés Manuel López Obrador. During her term, she was responsible for constructing an electronic vehicle registration center for Mexico City. She also oversaw the introduction of the Metrobus, a bus rapid transit system with dedicated lanes, and the construction of the second story of Mexico City's Ring Road, Anillo Periférico. Following López Obrador's narrow loss in the 2006 presidential election, Sheinbaum was tasked with assembling a team to investigate what he described as electoral fraud. The group analyzed tally sheets and used data from the Preliminary Electoral Results Program, PREP, concluding that the main irregularity was the alleged alteration of vote totals on polling station records. Sheinbaum also presented video evidence of alleged violations, including tampered ballot packages and improperly sealed envelopes, in several districts. The findings were submitted to the Electoral Tribunal of the Federal Judiciary, TEPJAV, as part of a request for a full recount, which the tribunal ultimately denied. López Obrador included Sheinbaum in his proposed cabinet for the Secretariat of Environment and Natural Resources as part of his campaign for the 2012 presidential election. 40 in 2014, she joined López Obrador's splinter movement, the National Regeneration Movement, Morena, which broke away from the mainstream left-wing party, the Party of the Democratic Revolution. In the 2015 federal district local elections, Sheinbaum was nominated by the National Regeneration Movement, Morena, for the mayorship of Tlalpan. She campaigned on a platform focused on improving public services and public spaces, reducing corruption, and implementing social programs for women and young adults. She won with 29.48% of the vote, flipping the borough from the Party of the Democratic Revolution, PRD, which had governed the borough since 2000. On December 5, 2017, Sheinbaum resigned to run for head of government of Mexico City as a candidate for the Juntos Haremos Historia coalition, lit. Together We Will Make History, composed of Morena, the Labor Party, PT, and the Social Encounter Party, PEAS. Sheinbaum is a self-described feminist, aligning her beliefs and actions with the principles of gender equality and women's rights. She advocates for the legalization of abortion, aligning her stance with broader movements aimed at promoting reproductive rights and autonomy for women. During her leadership in Mexico City, Sheinbaum implemented a gender-neutral policy regarding school uniforms in state-run schools and championed LGBT rights. In 2022, she became the first head of government of Mexico City to attend the city's Gay Pride March. Sheinbaum has criticized the neoliberal economic policies of past presidents of Mexico, arguing that they have contributed to inequality in the country. She has promised to expand welfare under her presidency and intends to continue programs started by López Obrador, such as universal pension. Sheinbaum has a background in environmental policy, having served as Minister of the Environment for Mexico City and worked on the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, which would go on to win the panel a Nobel Peace Prize. In her tenure as Minister of the Environment, she saw a marked reduction in air pollution and created community ecological reserves. She has both spoken in favor of clean energy and support of oil, praising Pemex, the nation's state-owned oil company. In 1986, Sheinbaum met Carlos Imaz Gispert, who later became a prominent political figure in the Ph.D. during his tenure at Stanford University. They married in 1987 and divorced in 2016. They have a daughter, Mariana Imaz Sheinbaum, born in 1988. Through the marriage, Sheinbaum became the stepmother to Imaz's son from a previous marriage, Rodrigo Imaz, whom she raised. In 2016, she began dating Jesus Maria Taraba Unger, a financial risk analyst for the Bank of Mexico, who she had known as a university student. In November 2023, Sheinbaum announced her marriage to Taraba via social media. The two married in a small civil ceremony.